it again, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with Kevin, Insane Kissane. How we doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So, Kevin, man, it's been a little bit since we've seen you in the cage, man. Talk to us a little bit more about what's next and how training has been.
Hoping to get a fight here soon. Looking at July 27th, between Trey and all the guys there at Marathon. That seems about the right date. It's in FAC. It's in Kansas City. That would be awesome. Or I think Cage Fury is another one that Trey Ogden mentioned to me too. So that'd be cool. Not sure on a date, but other than that, training's been going really good. Obviously, I have two killers at my weight class in the gym, so it's just making me better every single day. But yeah, that's kind of where I stand right now. Just kind of waiting for an opportunity, basically.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, is the next move for you looking to go pro, basically?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do that. Honestly, I think that's like the right move. And honestly, I have a kid now and a wife, or a soon to be wife. So it's like, yeah, to be making money doing this is the plan. And if I can do that sooner than later, that'd be awesome. But obviously, yeah, I think Trey has in mind about 2 more fights amateur, but I think that all depends on if we can get opponents at this point.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, when it comes to just like training and stuff, man, what's maybe some of your favorite things you like to do in training with your training partners?
Honestly, so like when it comes to training, like I think my favorite part is just the fact that in the room, like I have guys that are like at the top of the level at 135, and like I mean, Garrett Armsfield and Miles Johns, like best practice people I could ever ask for, because none of them have egos. Like we can play spar back and forth, and no one's really getting hurt in the room. Trey's really big on. He always says grapple hard, strike light, and I think it just saves our bodies. Like I mean, I moved from Wichita to Kansas City to start training, and I've had some little injuries, but nothing because of like, someone just trying to hurt me, basically. Like it's all level headed, and I really love that about the gym. So I think the fact that I can play spar and learn as I go is awesome, because I've been other places and you can't really do that sometimes.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And yeah, Garrett's an awesome dude. He's actually another guy we've had on the show. I mean, talk to us a little bit more about maybe some of your favorite memories with Garrett Armfield.
My favorite ones is the fact that, I was a junior college wrestling All-American. Like, I mean, like not the greatest wrestler in the world, but I have a really good work ethic and I like to gas people out. Like that's my favorite part about wrestling, is the fact that you can gas somebody out. But with Garrett, I've never met someone that's not like been very good at didn't wrestle he wrestled in high school, I guess a little bit, but nothing in college. But the dude picks up on the wrestling stuff so good. His level changes are amazing. So it's fun to grapple with him. Like he actually tries to wrestle me. So like those are my favorite memories, is just being in the gym and like just scrapping with the dude. Like it's very hard to find somebody that wants to attack you all the time. And he does a very good job at it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Garrett's definitely a beast, and he has a fight coming up. So with that being said, I mean, what's kind of the vibes like in the gym when, someone big like that has a fight coming up?
I mean, I would say like the big thing is just like, as like someone like myself, where I'm like on the up and coming, and like, I mean, the big thing is just to be there. Like I feel like I'm obligated to like, be there and help them out in any way possible. And some days it's not easy. Like I do have like a little kid at home, and so I have to like prioritize my like days, and I have a full-time job as well. So, and my wife, she's fiance, but she's like in school right now. So it's like sometimes it's hard to get in the gym and have like the best attitude, but knowing that they have a camp coming up, I'm like, all right, I got to bring it no matter what, even if it's just surviving. Like I got to keep moving. Like that's my motto when I get in there. But I think everybody else, like about 3 weeks out, really starts keening in on it too. Like I think that's the special thing about marathon is that we actually do care about one another. Like it's like a really good place to be. Uh, I'm very happy there, and like I love the atmosphere. So I'm glad I made the move.
Yeah, yeah, no, it definitely seems like a solid gym. And with that being said, too, have you happened to been to any of the UFC events live, or if not UFC, maybe like a couple of the other like local shows, for some of the people for your gym?
Yeah, I try to make the local ones just because it's so close. But I have been to a UFC event. I went to the one in Kansas City. Uh, I think that was about a year ago or a little over a year ago. Like I went and saw Max Holloway fight. What is it? Arnold, I believe it
Oh
was.
yeah,
Yeah, and that was awesome. Like and like I think that was the like when I was just like, okay, I want to do this for real. Like I never been to a UFC event, and like that was so cool, man. Like I'm sure you were there last weekend, right? At
oh yeah,
the other
yeah,
one. I mean, you've been to probably a bunch of them, but there's just something special about it.
yeah. Oh
It gives
yeah.
you like goosebumps. Like my hair like starts sticking up on my arms. It's such a good feeling, and I I think I missed that from like competing in college. So it's like fun to like think that like one day that's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, definitely, man. I've been to I think three or four now, so yeah, I love the watching the UFC live. I think it's a lot of fun. And with that being said, too, when it comes to like watching the fights live, do you think maybe the judges should maybe like watch the fights maybe like in the back, or do you think they are kind of good watching it live? Because sometimes I feel like when I watch it live, like I have a tougher time scoring it than I would watching it on TV.
Oh man. You know what? Honestly, my viewpoint on the whole, like judges thing is, I think they should tell them right after the round. Like, I think that should be like on the like what the score is after the round. Like, I could see the point of view on it, whereas like the athlete, oh, like we don't want them to know, like otherwise they're gonna stop fighting, or like they're gonna coast basically. But like from my background where it's wrestling, the score is on that board. Like that's not if you got that competitor mindset, you got that dog in you, you're not going to stop even if you are winning. I want to tech or pin that guy in a wrestling match, or I'm going to finish this dude like that in an MMA like scenario. But I think they should do it after every round and just post it up there and let the fans see it. I don't care if the judges are right next to the cage or in the back. Like if they're gonna show it though, yeah, they should probably be in the back. Like if they're gonna show the athletes, they should probably be in the back because, I mean, I wouldn't want the athlete to know who I am.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
you can get some crazy guys out there, women too. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's a good point about the wrestling, with the live score with that. I never actually thought about that. And, another thing that I think is pretty interesting as well, too, when you get ready to fight and stuff, too, for somebody that's maybe never fought before, how would you maybe like compare like fighting to something that maybe somebody does in like their everyday life?
um, I would compare fighting to like if someone's working a job, right? Like your typical 9 to 5, you're in a well, I guess I put it this way, like I do both, right? Like I work from like 7 and in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. I work for a company called Ryan Lawn and Tree, and I do like fertilizing for them. But like I like use that like as like the same way I would wrestling, like when I was in college, or if I'm getting ready for a camp. Like you got to prioritize your day, obviously. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything done. Organization is like the best thing. Same thing when it comes to MMA. Like, got to be organized, thoughtful. Like everything's got to be planned out pretty much. I mean, you can wing a few things, but if you're doing that all the time, you're not really getting anywhere, in my opinion. So I would say like the way they compare is just by like the organization that goes into it. Like you have to plan it out. Like if you don't, I mean, if you're gonna ask like if you're gonna ask like Volkanovski or anyone like these Maklachevs, like they probably know what they're doing a week in advance at least. You know what I mean? Same thing in like your situation. If you want to be the best at your job, like you got to plan ahead. Like otherwise, I don't know. You're just kind of like I I don't even know the best way to put it. You're just not doing the best that you possibly can at that point. So I would say organization is how they compare the most.
Right, right. No, that definitely makes sense. And yeah, when you're getting ready to fight and stuff too, when you're in the back, what do you typically like to do before you're getting ready for your fight?
Oh, before like it's changed over the years, but I would say like before I fight, like I want almost my warm up to be like probably harder than the fight. Like I want to be sweating. Like I might take a shower like after I work, like get a warm up in. Like I like want to dress. Like I feel like that's the only way I can warm up is if I'm like hot and bothered and like get that like first wind out of the way, and then it's like okay, endless gas tank. I'm level headed. My mind's right. Like let's go. But
That's
I'm not like a big music. Like I don't like music. My obviously most MMA wrestlers, our ears are pretty messed up. I can't really just put those the like earbuds in. So the over the head ones, I can't hear anybody talking. Like I don't know like what's going on. Like I'm like I probably should be listening to my coaches a little bit. Like they're there for a reason. So that's kind of my thing. Like get a good solid 45-minute warm up in, blow your lungs out, get a sweat rolling, and then I'm ready to go.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's definitely interesting about the AirPods. Speaking about that too, I mean, how long did it take you to kind of get the cauliflower ears?
Actually, believe it or not, so you know who Isaac Bulgarian is?
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah,
recently, yeah.
yeah.
So I wrestled him in 8th grade at the Kansas State Freestyle and Greco like state tournament, and
Okay.
he I was an 8th grader and I had scored on him and I was like kind of a nobody at this point. Like I was just kind of like coming up. Like I was a big baseball guy up until 8th grade. Like I didn't really know I wrestled, but I wasn't very into it. And then all of a sudden something clicked and I wanted to do it all the time. I even quit baseball. My dad I think cried. But uh he got mad that I scored on him, and dude, I think he like Conor McGregor shoulder checked me in a Greco like exchange, and dude, I was like, oh my god. So 8th grade was the first time I got it, and then ever since then I was like, I don't really care if I get it because you know what? I got it in practice one time with headgear on. Like it like slipped over and flipped over my ear, and the headgear pressed against it and like smashed my ear. So I was like, I don't think there's like no way of winning this.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, wow, that's definitely crazy. So like, how do you kind of like, I guess, like manage it and stuff?
Honestly, it doesn't balloon up now. It's
Okay.
it's hardened. So like your ears obviously aren't the same. It's just cartilage. There's no muscle or anything like that. So it doesn't like when it hardens, it just kind of stays. Like the blood just kind of like dries up in there and sticks. And I like it now because if I get clipped in the ear, it doesn't hit my head very hard. So maybe it's a little bit of cushion, but when I did get it, would get it, I would just have to go buy like, like diabetic needles or like I like go to Walgreens and they'll give you like I think it's like a 20 I think like a 25 gauge needle, just stick it in there and drain it out, put some ice on it, go for it. I mean, my roommates and I in college would be draining each other's ears all the time. Like eventually you just kind of like you have to enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, no, it definitely seems like it. And yeah, I mean, when it comes to like wrestling and stuff, like you mentioned, you were competing and stuff. I mean, talk to us a little bit more about some of your favorite memories with wrestling.
My favorite. So my freshman year of college, I was at the University of Missouri, and I wrestled there. I got a scholarship out of high school. Like it was a pretty cool. It was pretty cool, and I never won a state title or anything. I just had like extreme work ethic. So, like, that meant a lot to me. But uh, I went to Madison Square Garden to watch nationals, and I think I've placed at junior college nationals like and I got on the podium and it was cool, but I actually like popped my shoulder out right before that. So like I didn't really have like the best tournament. Like I couldn't like put 100% in, like I guess. Like I put 100% in with what I had, but Madison Square Garden didn't even compete there though. it was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I mean, like the greatest of the greats have like played on that court. Like, I'm not a big basketball guy, but I mean, like pretty much every basketball player's ever that's ever been good played on that court. Like, I, I mean, concerts have been held there. Like, you can just feel how old it is when you walk in, and like how like historic it is. Like, it like seeps through your veins basically at that point. It's a rush, and I got the opportunity to go there, and I think that was my favorite memory by far. And then obviously just graduating from college, like wrestling allowed me to do that. I don't know if I would have ever done that without the sport. Like, I really don't care about school a whole lot, but I ended up getting like present, like on like dean's list or whatever you call it. So I'm glad that I got to do that. Those are probably the two most important things that wrestling's ever given me, is like the opportunity to go to Madison Square Garden, around the world. Not, I never really went around the world, but around the United States. And then, yeah, a degree. And I'm pretty proud of that. So,
Yeah, yeah, no, you definitely should be, man. That's definitely awesome about being on the dean's list and going to Madison Square Garden. That's definitely awesome. And getting back to getting ready to go onto the pro scene. Is there any big differences besides the money when it comes to amateur and pro?
I it depends. Like, here's my biggest problem. And like I'm sure like other guys in my position are experiencing the same thing, which I know they are. Like my old roommate James Romero, he's fighting for LFA, his first pro card, actually June 22nd. But he was my roommate at Mizzou, and he's been fighting out of Albuquerque. I mean, that he's going to be a big deal, honestly. But like, he was experiencing the thing with the amateur is like, no one wants to fight a wrestler. They want to stand up. Like, it's kind of frustrating. Like, I've had like 4 or 5 fights just back out, and like, not only am I not getting paid, like I got prepared for that fight. Like, I got my weight down for that fight. Like, it took me damn near a year to get my weight down to get to 135, and I've had 3 people back out of fights already. Like, it's it's hard, like, like transitioning and putting all of your effort into that. Like, that's what stinks about being an amateur at like a level of like, I would say my level of grappling is probably more of like higher than some, right? Like, and I think that is scary for some people because you can't just duke it out and solve the problem. It's like, okay, I'm getting punched in the face, I'm going to take you down, and where I'm superior. So, like, that's the biggest difference. I mean, at the end of the day, I care about the money. Obviously, I think most people do. But my biggest problem is not being able to get something secured. Like, I think that's the reason I want to go pro more than anything. Is like, you sign this contract, you're going to show up in this cage, or there's kind of consequences at that point, basically. Like, I don't know. That's it. That's the most frustrating part, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's actually the thing I learned too from doing all these interviews. I didn't realize how much of the pullouts there was, like when it comes to like the amateur scene and that kind of stuff. But with that being said, is there any funny stories that you happen to have from like opponents that happen to pull out?
Yeah. Okay, I'm not like the biggest shit talker in the world. Like, I'm pretty level headed. Like, I like to be goofy more than anything. Like,
Yeah.
it's very hard for me to have bad blood. Like, I just focus on myself, so it kind of just doesn't allow me to do that. But I showed up, and I was training out of Skywalker 101, which is in Omaha. I actually moved there for a little bit, like out of college, and that was the first gym I really started like training at. And like, those guys up there are awesome. Like, I really like them too. They're very good people. Danny, he was like the boxing coach up there, and then you got Scott Morton. Like, they're like just great people. And then the Lionheart, obviously. But like, I was very fortunate to get my roots started there. But I would say like, this kid didn't show up to weigh in. Like, I weighed in on the scale, and I'm like, no. I'm like, I lost it a little bit. Like, I think the weight cut got to me, and I texted and called this guy like multiple times. I'm like, at this point, I was like, dude, I will literally pay you. Like, I think I told him I'd pay him like $250 to show up. I'm like, I will literally pay you to show up. Like, just show up. And he just was like ignoring me. And I was like, bro, I was like, I took the day off of work for this. Like, I don't have any more time off. I'm freaking out. And then I told like the promoter, I was like, dude, I will fight anyone at this point, like that. And like, I'll say this, like, I'll freak out in like the practice room every once in a while, just like because I'm like frustrated. Like, and it's not even a freak out, but like I used to be way worse when I was younger. I've definitely matured having a kid. I'll put it that way. Like, big man's definitely helped me out there, but I lost it, man. Like, and that's about as far as it's come to, like, like people pulling out and me freaking out on it. Like, normally I just try to be like calm and collected. Like, the world works in mysterious ways, like everything happens for a reason. But at that point, I didn't think it happened for a reason. I was like, but that's a yeah, that's part of it, I guess, at this point. But yeah, I'll say this though, I'm ready to go pro. I'm ready to get after it, honestly. Like, it would just be nice to like fully like just get involved in the sport completely at that point. Like, I don't really care where I fight at the beginning, like, whether it's LFA or like these other promotions, FAC, you name it, won championships. I think that would be sick, honestly, because you could grapple and fight in that. Like the Rotolo brother, Cade's fighting soon, and he did a couple of jiu-jitsu matches. Like, I think that'd be sick as well. But at the end of the day, UFC, yes, like that's what I want to do. But I gotta start somewhere. So yeah, that's about as far as I've gone to freaking out with the pullouts. But uh, maybe my girlfriend or fiance would say differently, but that's about it.
Yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough. And with that being said, I always like to ask every fighter I bring this on the show. I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I've been training for 19 years, teaching for 6 years. So I just love martial arts and love what I do. And with that being said, man, with all the different guys I have in my gym, what advice you give to them to keep on coming into the gym and to keep on getting better and better every single day?
Okay, I would say honestly, like learn the sport not just from like being in the gym. Learn the sport from videos, motivational talks. I think something that like Trey Ogden like really instilled in me when I moved here was, like I mentioned, like I used to freak out a lot more before the kid and stuff like that. Yeah, I was very like temperamental, and like it actually like ruined wrestling for me for a little bit because like I got just so involved. Have you ever heard of imposter syndrome?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it was at that point. And then when I got here, it's like I learned the sport. Like, he made me want to learn it. I've read a book on, like jujitsu, and like I was like that made me like just love it so much more, and like take day by day. Like, it's never gonna be you're never gonna have like the best day of your life in the gym. I mean, you might, but like there's always gonna be something in your way, and if you focus on those things, it's just gonna like tear you apart a little bit. And I think thinking of like combat sports in general is almost like my church. Like, that's where I go to church. Like, that's my religion almost. It's almost a spiritual thing, and I really think I have to thank Trey for that. Like, because I think that's similar to the way that he like views the sport, and I couldn't have asked for a better role model in that sense. So it's that's what I would say to kids, or to adults even, is just enjoy it, learn it, respect it, and I think your overall life will change. I think martial arts can change your life, and it's definitely changed mine. So,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, no.
obviously be organized. Organization is key too. If you can
Oh
plan
yeah.
something out and work on something, like I'm going to work on only takedowns today or takedown defense, like that's the only thing going through your head, you're going to get so much better.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. And yeah, Kevin, I definitely think that was an awesome message. And yeah, man, speaking of messages, what's maybe your final message out there for the fans watching this video?
Um, Keep an eye on me. I'm coming up. I'm ready to go. Promoters, if you're looking for someone, I'm available. 135. Otherwise, it's I I mean, you can go follow my Instagram. I think it's like Kevin Kissane 9 or something like that. can go look at my last video on there. I got tossed in a lat drop by this dude named Muggsy. He's a he's like a Instagram influencer guy. It's kind of funny. I was a little bummed about it, but it is what it is, you know. There's no such thing as bad marketing, I guess. But no, yeah, that's about it. That and just, you know, use martial arts for like the greater good. Like it doesn't have to be your life if you don't want it to, but let it change it. Like that's all I got to say about it. So
I love it. I love it. Dude, you're an awesome man. And it's been awesome talking to you. And they're going to know the name soon, man. Keep grinding. And yeah, like I said, we're looking forward to what's next. And thank you again for taking the time. It was a lot of fun talking to you.
yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate you having me on. It means a lot. And I hopefully this I really liked being interviewed. So if you ever want to do it again, maybe down the road when I'm actually got a bigger name, that'd be awesome too.
Let's go.
Get the
Yeah.
cash back. And yeah. Thanks again, Crazy Kev. I think we can you know, it's kind of nice having the same name. It's a good name. So
There you go. Yeah, no, it definitely is a good name. I like your nickname too, at the Insane. It definitely kind of fits the vibe of the show.
oh yeah, man. I was pretty excited. I was like, dude, we both got the little crazy in us. I dig it. So that actually my high school coach gave me that nickname because
There you go.
yeah. Well, I talked about the 45-minute warm-ups. There was nobody in the state of Kansas probably doing that other than me. Maybe one other person I can name is Tegan Lambot, and he was that dude was like by far the hardest worker I've ever met in my life. I think that's what I was striving for.
Yeah.
But he ended up going to Iowa and wrestling actually, so he definitely had a little bit of that crazy in him too. But no, my coach gave me the name Insane Kissane, and it was one time I was so mad that I lost the match. I ran like 25 miles home in my singlet.
Oh wow.
And yeah, dude, it was bad. And then the 45-minute warm-ups, like I was drenched and had a harder workout than the tournament. Like, you know, I definitely have earned the name. I'll accept it.
There you go. No, that's awesome. That's a sick story for your nickname. I wish I would have asked you that now that you brought it up. So yeah, man, dude, it's been awesome talking to you, and we'll definitely do another one in the future. You just let me know. Let's do it.
Heck yeah, man. Well, you have a good weekend, and it was nice talking to you.
Yeah, man, no problem at all. And thank you again for going a little bit early. I just figured I had a little bit extra time. I just figured I'd ask you, and I'm glad you were able to do it. So again, thank you so much for going a little bit earlier too.
Oh yeah, dude, no problem at all. Yeah, that actually worked out perfect. I ended up going on vacation this weekend because my little guy hasn't met my other side of the family, so they're all meeting him today. So it's pretty cool. I'm in like Galena, Illinois. I don't never been here, but it's pretty nice. There's a golf course, so maybe I'll go hit a few later. But
there you go. Yeah, that's awesome, man. All right, man.
Yes,
well, yeah,
sir.
man, enjoy your weekend. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time. And yeah, I'll let you know when the video's out, I guess.
Heck yeah. Thanks again, man.
Yeah, man. Let's go. All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.